Bill, Wednesday, August the 6th, and we're back at it again. Remember, don't play with money you can't afford to lose. Took a few trades on SGBX and RMSG today. SGBX played with our emotions. It certainly had us hunting off of the pre-market. There wasn't any really thing moving other than AIMD, and SGBX was the leading gapper. Um, BTAI was also moving, but it's a very slow mover, and we didn't think it had potential. Um, SGBX looked like it had volume, and I don't want to say that it showed great potential, but it showed like an opportunity to earn 10, 15 cents there. Problem was it was even a very slow mover, so we took a few trades. We wanted a few, but we lost the most. And we wound up today $40 down, about only $15 down on SGBX, seeing how it's a penny stock. Our MSG was the biggest loser at 24, so we'll get that towards the end. Um, so off the market open, we're watching it. We didn't take any trades, but then we see it starting to move up. So we think there's an opportunity, and we jump in with 600 shares. It was a matter of holding it once again. And I think my mistake today was I saw the pre-market very light on volume. And my first thought was, oh, a lot of traders didn't get up this morning. So in looking at everything, I thought maybe today is not the day to trade, or I might wind up with no trades. But SGBX started moving, and we said, okay, so that's the only mover. Let's see what we can do. And it was hovering between 40 cents and 46, 48 cents. And at times there were really big sellers and really big buyers. So we thought it had a chance, but it wasn't meant to be. So here we're just holding it, and luckily it's moving up a little bit, shows signs of life. There's still a lot more sellers on the ask, but it's holding its own. And there was money to be made there. There was money to be had, except that, once again, you can't have any fear. And we're not looking to get out with a $4 or $5 win. We're looking for something more than that. We're looking for at least double digits, and and a lot more than that. So we move ahead and we don't take any trades, and we wait until about after 7 Pacific, because you see how it dropped down there. Quite a bit, dropped from 48 all the way down to what, about 37, a little about 36. And so there appears to be a reclaim there of the BWAP, and a green bar over the 20. So we're thinking that it might be an opportunity, and we jump in just with a small starter of 200 shares. And we start to see him move up, and we begin to think that this is the time to start adding. And my thought here is that it's going to go back up to 46, 48. It's not taking my bids there, so I'm trying to move it up. Finally does. But right above the VWAP and the 20, I think it's still consolidating mostly itself. I mean, overall, it's not that bad. $40 loss. We made 55 yesterday, so we're still up 15 for these past 2 days, and in 4 days we're still up $90 on the month of August. So, and I think we could have had a better day, uh, but the market was playing with our emotions, telling us who's boss. And like I said, you gotta maybe my strategy should be altered a little bit to say, you know what, yeah, 5, 10, $15 might be a good win if the market is not showing signs of strength. So we hold through here, but obviously at this point, we're already on the losing end. But we continue to hold. I still see potential here at this point. Now, from the very first trade, all those trades I took, had I held them until, like I said, to let's see what it's in 10:45 Eastern, so 7:45 Eastern, when it went up to hit a high of 60, that would have been a nice win. But hindsight is 2020, and you can't foretell the future. You got to do what you got to do at that moment. So I'm holding it here, and only because the signal line and the MACD line are very close to the zero line there, which and the stock hovering above the VWAP and the 20, and I'm thinking 46, 47, 48 is possible. And it shows signs of life there. And I think the play here was to go in with a lot more shares. I think we had an opportunity there to our buying power was almost 2,900 shares there, a little over 2,900 shares. Thing would have been to take 2,000 shares and take a 5-6 cent win and get out for the day. That would have used up all our capital, but it's always important to stretch your capital out. So on a 2K account, you're going to have to measure how much you spend, how many shares you buy, and there are calculators out there that you can utilize to do that. I have an indicator up there on a label off the 1 minute that tells me how much cash I've got, and then I just update it based on settled funds, and it divides the current price of the stock and tells me how many shares I can take, which is the easiest way to do it. Otherwise, by the time you go sit or bring up a calculator, start figuring it out, it's very difficult. Or if you do it in your head, that's great. If you can do that, oftentimes you're moving around, you're looking at so many numbers. It's happened to me that I forget to update that label, or I think my math in my head is highly correct, and I overbuy, which means I go over my settled funds, and I have to add more money from my bank account. But so this area above the VWAP and a rise above the 20 was uh, was pretty good, but it's just 400 shares are not going to make a difference, and that's one of the things about low price stocks. Penny stocks, you're going to get a small charge for buying anything under a penny stock, and look at your brokers. Um, Mines are at least Schwab fees are inconsequential. I think last year for all the trades I took, my fees were like $19, and that's for 12 months of trading and quite a few penny stocks in there. This year, I think it's somewhere around $6. So it's nothing to be worried about as far as fees for taking trades. If you're taking hundreds of trades on penny price stocks, then yeah, uh, that it's going to add up, and so it doesn't make sense. I mean, if you make $4 on a penny stock and you get charged $1 in fees, you're only making $3. So as I look over the watch list, everything still looks pretty stable. Nothing really stands out as being, you know, a breakaway stock. So here's what I was talking about: is this that we got in with a lot more shares. We not only recovered what we had lost, but we made some money. Then we get out $15. So the smart move here would have said, "Oh, you know what? We snuck $30 out. The 15, this 15, 17 that we lost, and another 15. So we should have gotten out. But well, we want more. We want to have good days. We want to have $50 days at least. And sometimes if we don't get there, my goal appears to be somewhere below 21. So below 21 means I keep trading if I still have settled funds. 21 and to 24, I need to think about cutting it and just quitting for the day. And a real nice goal is anything about 25 all the way up to 50, and of course more. But it all depends on the market. So you see here, it's 726, and we're trading, and it's hovering around 47, and it's crawled back up, but it's just having a hard time getting over 49 into the 50 zone. And so sometimes if you have your technicals and you have a hunch and you look at everything else and there's nothing else moving, and this is a leading gapper with that much volume. Look at the volume, 533 million. The next one closest is AIMD at 102 million. That's crazy. That's really crazy. It's got let's see, 190, 6240. It has basically more volume than the next 5, 6 stocks put together. So it doesn't have momentum. Now here, yeah, people start. There's almost like a 1, 2, 3, 4 quintuple top up there, maybe even a sixth, and it can't get up above 48. But it does recover, and so we continue to hold. Now at this point, the MACD and the volume, the histogram is pointing downwards. So smart thinking here would have said, well, it's not going to make it past that 48.50 mark, but it continues to show signs of life. Now you guys see my magenta line up there at 54, and that was my goal, thinking that it could get up there, and it eventually does, but it does it looks like 10 minutes after I quit. So and I run out of settled funds. So at this point, I couldn't trade it anymore, even if I tried. So I just quit the software, and I go back and into the web, and I'll check on one or two stocks that I've traded to see how they're doing, and only to tell me what I did wrong. So what I did wrong today was I ran out of patience. I started trading this stock a little too early, knowing that there wasn't anything and that the market could pick up uh, after 7:30. I didn't wait. Had I waited, I would have been full of capital here around 7:30, and it would have been the place to take a trade. Uh, the amount of money is not total agony, but it is the fact that you are not winning. It isn't the amount of money. I mean, $40 in one day. It's money, but it's not going to put you in the poorhouse. I looked at my trade percentage. I'm still at 54%, and I need to get that up higher. If I can get to 60, 66, 65, I think that I'll be having more winning trades. But the way you get there is through being patient. So at this point, I began to cut back to reduce the losses. That way, if the stock continues down, uh, it won't be too bad. So I stop out, and now we're down 13. So it does come back and reclaim. It's 7:36, and we don't jump in fast enough. But and at this point, what I'm trying to do is trying to just get whatever I can back, so that the day won't be as bad. And even here, eh, if I were to cut it here and escape the day with an $8 loss, that would be a huge win, since I was able to make quite a few trades. But like I said, I'm stubborn. And here it looks like it has the potential. Now it looks like it's going to go, and it's 7:37 a.m. on the Pacific Coast, and it looks like it's finally going to hit 49. And we're in a good position at 46. And if I had waited and it gone up to 60, then that would have been a nice 10, 12 cent win there. But there is just no strength. And when I started this trade, one of the reasons I took it was because there was a million buyer position that I saw on level two. So the interest is there. And if you see that much interest, then it's going to go up. But it's a waiting game. At this point, also AIMD was moving up simultaneously, as well as BTAI. And so traders weren't all in on this one. Now, that curve pattern is quite interesting. Goes all the way up, all the way down, and then starts all the way back up again. And it looks like it should consolidate here for 3 or 4 bars before it goes down. At least that's what we're thinking. But it doesn't. It's 7:40, and here it's obvious that it's moving now down, and it's not going to make it. And like I said, about 5 minutes later, it goes all the way up to 60 cents. So that's the way things go. So with a little bit of money still in settled funds, we take a look at RMSG, and that had gone down a little bit, but it was reclaiming the VWAP there. So a little higher price stock. It had no news. The only news sticker that's showing there was the fact that it did halt and come back from the halt, but it didn't really rise up. So we went ahead and took a trade thinking that it might work, but remember what I said, that first run up to the VWAP usually means a rejection. So at this point, I think I was just grasping for straws and saying, trying to just make something quick because SGBX hadn't moved up, and trying to get $15 back. But, and I held this way too long. I had not taken trades on RMSG, and I should have been convinced that it wasn't the stock to take trades on. Simply because it was over $3 and there was no news. But hey, I'm not upset over it. We'll have to come back tomorrow and play it smarter. You know, and after this happens to you quite a few days, you think you've learned, but that's one of the things about FOMO, fear of missing out. Like and subscribe. If you got questions, leave them down below. Good or bad comments are all welcome. And have a great Wednesday. We'll see you all tomorrow.